In 1953, 6 years after India's independence, it felt like that our newly independent country was still stuck in the past. It felt like we almost needed our second industrial revolution. And that's when Government of India came up with HMT, Hindustan Machine Tools. Their job wasn't glamorous. They were responsible for building the heavy industrial backbone of the country. In short, they were assigned to do the grunt work. And we are talking about real heavy machinery here. So from tractors to industrial lathes and heavy printing presses, making them the ultimate heavy metal engineers. For years, if any factory, government, or anyone needed machinery, they would turn to HMT. And being the masters they are, they used to give it to them. But after a few years, the government of India assigned them with a rather unusual request. They were asked to make a watch. In 1953, our then Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru realized that in order to become a serious workforce, we need workers to be punctual. But the thing was, India didn't really had watches. We didn't really manufacture any. We used to rely on imported, expensive. They weren't really handy or accessible for common people. Nehru's solution was to turn to HMT. And HMT knew that they expertise in heavy machinery to pull off a 1 mm device which needs to be accurate. They were really out of depth there. So in turn, realizing where they lack, they turned to East and went to Japan, where they asked citizen, took a backseat, and in collaboration, they created their first watch, the HMT Janata. The watch was rugged, it was affordable, and most importantly, completely assembled in India in their Bangalore factory. It felt like almost overnight, the tractor company has learned how to manufacture watches, and in turn, they took over and monopolized all the rest in the country. And for the next 3 decades, HMT wasn't just a watch brand. It felt like it was a rite of passage. From graduation to getting married, becoming a father, it felt like someone will come and give you an HMT watch. Plus, watches being durable and made to pass down to generations made them a really strong gift. By the 1970s, the demand was so astronomical that HMT couldn't make the watches fast enough. Unlike the modern luxury brand watch scarcity, which is created artificially, whole nation wanted to wear a same brand of watch. They wanted it on their wrists, they wanted to gift, and in order to get ahead in the wait list, they sometimes used to get letters from sitting member of parliaments, and that also didn't really help much. HMT was untouchable. They had over 100 models, from Pilot to Janta to Sona. But there's a real fatal flaw in monopoly. You stop innovating, you stop looking over your shoulder. And HMT didn't really see what hit them from behind. In the 1980s, the entire watch industry was shook by now what we call the quartz crisis. Battery powered, more accurate watches, which were cheaper to make and didn't really require winding up daily. In 1980s, as this global shift happened, a new player entered the Indian market, Titan. Titan realized that people didn't really need just a tool to tell the time. They wanted accessories, they wanted style. While Titan was running modern, advanced, and emotional ad campaigns, HMT was left stunned. At the end of the day, they were great engineers who built great machines, but sadly, they were terrible marketers. So, while the world was moving on towards more fashionable, quartz, accurate watches, HMT decided to stuck to the hand-wound watches. The fall was absolute. The brand, which once required letters from politicians to sell the watches, now couldn't give them away. And when in 2016, the government of India pulled the plug on HMT watches. That should have been the end. But a few years ago, internet did what it does. It got nostalgic. A new generation, completely built around screens, grew up with digital watches, smart watches, wanted something new, wanted something more raw. And that's when they discovered mechanical watches and in turn discovering HMT. Even today, HMT produces a small number of watches and randomly drops them to their website. Collectors treat it like an exclusive sneaker drop, and if you want a Kohinoor today, you have to be really fast because the wait lists are back and it's completely digital now. So, to really understand this legacy, I drove up to the HMT Museum here in Bangalore. I needed to see what was left of this 5%. Walking through these halls, the whole story makes sense. You see massive sitting right next to these completely watches. You see the sheer scale of what these companies did. They did just make watches. They got an entirely newly invented house. HMT might have failed as a modern business, but they accidentally